Do we have vocals now on the microphone? Do we have vocals on the mic now? I see it metering. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. I don't know if you're going to have audio track. Let's just check a track just in case. Do you guys hear that track? Do you guys have that track by chance? You don't have the track? You do have the track. You don't have the track. It's way down. I don't know why that is either. We don't know what we got going on. Let me just try. Let me just watch it meter here. Okay, hang on. If I check, let me do this one more time. Oh, you know what I should probably do is this. Hang on. Let's delete that one. Let me delete this one right here. I'm trying to do my loopback thing, and it's like giving me kind of a fit today. I want to delete that. Now I've got a problem. I can't. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if we can delete that. Yeah, let's. Okay, hang on just a second. Oh, I'm trying. Virtual channels. Okay, now do you have vocal mic? Do you still have vocal mic? Right here, I'm breaking the internet. Should have everything. Okay, now let's try the track one more time. Yeah. track test, a little audio. Cool. My sweatshirt was getting hung up in my strings there for a second. Yeah. Oh, and now I flung my cell phone. It's chaos. It is chaos. That's how you know it's live, right? Yeah, that's a cool solo. It's really hard to phrase some of those things in the pocket, especially when your sweatshirt's in the way. I want to show you a couple of those licks before we get started. Some cool moments in that. Let's take maybe the top of the solo. So we're in the key of B, B major, or G minor, G sharp minor. So let's take the top of that. This is a fun pentatonic lick that's about to happen right here. So it's actually 2 notes per strings at that speed, can be kind of tricky. You could also do another variation of it that I like, which is where you have this basically you're outlining the 9. That sound, right? That sound. So let me show you the lick slow. One more time. And you know, one of the things that I think makes things sound more interesting from just a SAS perspective is if you're sliding into a lick instead of just playing a single lick by itself, right? Right? Sounds way better than just right? It's a simple thing, but just adding some sass into the front of the notes. Another lick that's quite tricky is the descending. That one. Right? It kind of switches where it's at on the beat. Let me play that in real time so you can like hear what that sounds like in the solo one more time, and then we'll get into the subject matter for today. Let's get that solo one time. I think it's after this slap right here. That fast pentatonic lick too. I think it's right here. That thing is really weird. interesting thing to me is like taking little rhythmic motifs and moving them around. One is this thing. So that's a 4-note grouping. And here's another moment where I turn the beat kind of on the other side of it. Right? So let's review a couple of licks here for free. And that can be, like, let's say you want to play that in the key of E minor. You can play it. Right there. That's right. Like that. So, review the licks that we've just learned. Pentatonic in the key of G sharp minor. Yeah, I'm using the gearbox right now, and a little bit of delay, and that's it. And then the other lick, right here. Let's hear it all one more time in context, and then we'll move on to the subject matter for today. I think this is right. Oh no, that's too far in. So those are some nice kind of ideas that I think sound pretty good, and they kind of mix up some basic inside stuff without, it's like I love outside harmony, but sometimes outside harmony doesn't work, but I still want something kind of cool there, right? So it's like staying diatonic and finding interesting ways to make diatonic stuff sound clever. Oftentimes involves twisting where stuff is on the downbeat. Okay. So why does any of this matter? Why do we do what we do? And let's get into the topic, the live versus the studio. Now, speaking of live, we have just announced today, I'm super happy. I've known about it here for a little bit, but we've announced my first hometown show in a long time. Man, a long time. So the last time I played was about a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half. Gosh, I guess maybe not. I played in England, but then before that, I played in Dallas at Guitar Sanctuary a while back, and we haven't played in Knoxville in forever. So on December 12th, we're going to be bringing the full band and my full show to the Bijou. So all of my East Tennessee, North Georgia, Nashville, North Carolina friends, everyone within a couple of hours of Knoxville, I would love to see you. The tickets go on sale Friday at the Bijou for the hometown show. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. Maybe play one of these new guitars. Who knows? We're going to have a big time. I know that much for a fact. So I'd love to see you guys. I'll make it out to the Bijou for the show. Now, live versus the studio. I had a good, couple of laughs here this morning with one Tom Bukovac, Uncle Larry, and we were talking trolls. Don't feed the trolls, right? It's interesting because you have to be hyper consistent to do either. You know what I'm saying? So when people say in the studio, I don't think they're referencing a studio session environment. A studio session environment is different than being in the studio making a video. Okay? Making a video, you're as worried with the video and the camera. I'm more worried about the camera stuff and getting a good image than I am worried about playing good. I've spent a long time playing. I haven't spent as much of my life doing video stuff. But in a video editing environment, you can get so far down the rabbit hole you get yourself in trouble, like Giacomo, right? But there's plenty of guys that make videos all the time in their homes that sound great. One of our friends of the channel, John Cordy, all of the bros, you're talking Tom Quill, Jack Gardner, Martin Miller, the squad, the homies, all of those guys make videos and they sound great, whether they be in their studio or they go somewhere to film it. Like I know Martin likes to go to that one studio space that kind of looks with the books and library, kind of looks like a little speakeasy where he films all the Martin Miller session band stuff. And it's always killer, and he's playing and it sounds great. And you could get into any of those environments and take a couple of takes at something. Hell, you might even get a situation where you like the front of one take and the back of another. Like, all right, let's take verse and chorus of A, and let's take, verse 2, chorus 2 of B, and take the solos from C, and you take 3 takes at it. All right, so that's completely valid, and I don't think that's in the realm of edited to death. I don't think it's even close to faking it. That's stupid to even say that in the same sentence. I'm going somewhere with this, so stay with me. In the studio environment that you make videos like I do, I may take a couple of swings at it, especially if I'm going to do a solo that's like maybe the Pound Cake solo. I did that not too long ago. Or the No More Tears solo that I posted on Instagram. Take a couple of takes at it. Get it to where the vibratos sound close and it sounds good, right? And you just roll with that. Cool. And it's one take, done. I personally don't like to, when I make a video and I'm playing, I personally don't like to go in and punch in notes that are bad. I would just rather take another take at the solo. I don't know if that's getting vibe or what? I don't think of it like I'm above it. I just would rather just get another take. If there's something that's not quite right, in general, I just would rather just take another take at something. Okay, cool. Now, in a session environment where you're playing on a record, you may get a perfect something and you just want just one note to be louder. Or you may have had a hand rub on the low string and you need to just punch that one thing where that rub on the low string is. It could have been a great take. You just need to not get the rub. That's a completely different thing too. But to be consistent in the studio, in a session player's environment, I just did a couple of sessions this morning, did some overdubs for some clients on their song. And you have to be able to play at a super high level. Now, I'm not just saying I'm really good. That's not what I mean by that sentence. I'm saying if you take Brent Mason, Dan Huff, Tom Bukovac, Sean Tubbs, like guys that play a lot, in a recording environment, you have to be able to play to drop that in or recapture a feel of a take. And I don't mean FILL, I mean FEEL, right? Capture the feel of a certain take, but you may want a little something different, right? I think that's just a consistency factor that elite session guys that are used to playing on records can just go do. Yeah, I can give you that same thing and I'll give you a different outro, right? Like they can give you the vibe of it. And then when it comes to the outro, give you a couple of different ideas. Put seven or eight, choose the one that you like and go about it. Now let's get into live. Live is a whole different animal because there's not another chance to do it again. And a live in one take is a whole different animal. By that, I mean like you're playing a live concert and they're going to video it. Let me give you a couple examples of this. Gary LaVox is the lead singer for Rascal Flatts, and I work with him. You guys know this. That's not new news. But this year he released a song, and we recorded it live. And we didn't intend for that to be the single version, but it ended up being the single version because it was so good. We're just like, well, gosh, we could just use that live, that live version that we filmed actually for a TV show. Cool. That ended up being the take. That ended up being the single, right? And so with I want to make sure I'm thinking of the right one. We've cut so many, and he's got a new single that I played on called Hold the Umbrella, and I cut that in. It's Make It Rhyme, and it's called, if you're looking up the single, here we go. It's called Live. What's the whole title? Yeah, it's called Live on the Song. So the song was the name of the TV show. That's what I couldn't think of. And Make It Rhyme, if you look that up on Spotify or whatever, that ended up being the thing. That's live. Now, I want to shift outside of my own optic. That's just an example of myself. Uncle Larry, we know him as Uncle Larry. One Thomas Bukovac. Tom is unreal. Bukovac is just an anomaly. He gets great sounds. He's got a great energy, and he's creative. Book plays live with Vince Gill. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just say that again for the people in the back. Bukovac plays live with Vince Gill. He does live shows. There's video of him trading solos with Greg Koch. That's no easy feat. As a man who has played many shows with Greg Koch, it is not easy to get up there and trade with him because he's a lethal player. Tom has no problem with it. You know what I mean? He is a great player and plays live and plays in the studio. I play live. I do hundreds of shows a year, whether that be with Gary or my solo stuff or clinics or whatever. I play on sessions. I'm blessed enough to where I can do most of them remote, Every now and then I have to go in and do something. But, what got me was someone reaching out to me saying, hey, man, this guy is on YouTube calling you and Tom out. Now, I'm not going to list the guy's name. I'm not going to list his channel because I don't like to start hoarding people's armies against each other. I think that's real stupid. I think the internet warfare stuff is real stupid. However, me and Tom did laugh about it. You know, he sent me a text, I guess, late last night. He must have been in a different time zone than I was in. And then I saw it this morning. And we had a good laugh about it because, you know, some of these guys, these trolls, you can't feed them. But if they call you out or they jump on your channel, like if anybody gets on a comment on my channel, I'm going to respond. You came to my channel. Like you have now commented on my video. I feel like that's like an open invitation to enter conversation. Now that could be something really positive like, hey man, what octafuzz do you like? Or I like this wah pedal. Or it could be something really negative like your face is stupid. I don't care what it is. But if you go there into that space, like I'm going to respond. Now I may not engage forever and keep it going back and forth, but I'm going to respond. I'm just... my dad raised me that way. You know what I mean? It's like I just can't let somebody just say whatever they want and me not respond. Now, the funny thing is when I respond, then oftentimes they get their feelings hurt or they say, oh, well, you're a jerk, or, you know, it's like real big of you to punch down. The interesting thing to me is the mentality of punching upwards and saying that, you know, someone like, you know, I'm a professional. Tom's a professional. I don't think either one of us would get on a platform and say we're the best guitar players ever. We're not built like that. We're not those kind of guys. And it's not, I think other guys, Guthrie Govan and Brent Mason, the best guitar players ever. Eric Johnson, you know, it's like my heroes are the best guitar players ever. Dan Huff, you know, Steve Morse, whatever. And I would say that Tom and I are professionals. Pretty valid point. But I think it's interesting that someone who is building a YouTube channel thinks that they're going to have more success by pulling professionals down. Let me put it in a metaphor. This person thinks that if they tear down someone else's building, it makes their building taller. That's just not true. And person, if you're seeing this, I'm not mad at you. Like everybody's got an opinion, and it's okay if you think guys like me and Tom are terrible. That's fine. I don't think it's okay to say that me and Tom are not good. It's because like we make a living at this. Like we're objectively good enough to get paid to do what we do by professionals to play some of the most high pressure environments that exist in the music industry. So if you are watching this person, my advice to you would be work on building your building as tall as you can. And then if it outshines and it's taller than other people's buildings, that's great. Help those people build their buildings up too. I don't want to sound like a bumper sticker or a tie-dyed t-shirt or like peace and love. But if you're in a position where you can help people, use your energies to do that, because then you're expanding the value of our market of what guitar playing is. Like I want to see as many guitar players get as popular as they can and make as much money as they can, because that increases the value of what guitar is. Does that make sense? So that's my thoughts on this. And I also think it's like you can't feed the trolls. I'm going back to my title, what I titled this live stream. You can't feed the trolls. You can't obsess over what they say, right? But also, if you're a troll and you come into somebody's channel, you can't be offended when they respond. You also don't get the right to be all butthurt if they respond and say, evaluate your playing. I have evaluated people's playing. Like, the first thing I do if someone trolls me, and I'll show you my hand because it's not going to change. If you troll me, I will 1000% go to your channel. I will go to your Facebook. I will go to your Instagram, and I will inspect your playing. And if I find it lacking, you bet your sweet bottom dollar that will be what I say in my response. Because if you've got the nerve to troll on somebody's playing who is spending their energies trying to help people, you better be able to play. You better be able to play. Now, I want to go into a friend of mine's channel. He's pretty controversial, but I like him. He's in a great fusion band called Marvin. Danny has, on Facebook for years, made these troll videos. Well, they went crazy viral on Instagram, and he trolls and talks smack about whatever the flavor of the week is. Listen, Danny can play. It is not a joke. It is not a game. He is a lethal player. He can play gypsy jazz. He can play fusion. He can play all kinds of stuff. So it's not that I'm encouraging. His is based out of humor. He never goes on somebody. And let me rephrase this. He's not going to go to one specific person, jump in their comments section, and then start attacking them. He's going to make his viral video for viral content, and it's going to do its thing. I think that's funny. That's humor. What I'm talking about is when you're making a video, you're calling out a guy like Tom Bukovac or myself or somebody else, and you go into the avenue of discrediting it. Saying it's not as good live. You're not as good live. I want to go, which live performance? That would be a rebuttal immediately. If you say I'm not as good live, I would actually argue with you because I like my live playing and most of my performances better than my studio playing on my solo records. I think live has an energy to it. For example, I think the Rick Beato Free Range Chicken performance is better than any of the album stuff because I had a good take. It sounded good and was fun and there was energy there. The Sweetwater live in the studio of Shoot the Sun Down, that's just one take. That's live. That's one take. And I posted it because I was proud of how it sounded. And that was just one take. I like live style playing. Van Halen first 4 records sounded kind of like a live record. It just sounded like it was a thing that was happening in real time. It was every note squeaky clean and perfect to the nth degree, like say, Sleep Token or something? No, of course not. It wasn't that flawless. But to me, that made it cool. Like cool factor goes a long way. So if somebody's like, oh, Andy's not as good live as he is in the studio, I'm just like, what are you talking about? Because I live stream like right now. Like I played the same licks on Storms and Sparrow like 6 times in a row. Like it's evident. Like now there's going to be ones that are better than the others, but it's evident that like that exists, right? And so this is something that I hope I'm using as a vehicle for education or sharing or helpfulness to you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys in the comments are leery about posting stuff about your playing because there's an insecurity there. I would argue don't worry about it. Post what you're going to post because you can be Tom Bukovac and people are going to slag you. God knows that Joe Bonamassa has dealt with internet trolls forever. I don't know what gets in people's heads. Let me just slow down here and just talk about this for a second. What gets in somebody's head to think that they can go and say that Joe Bonamassa sucks at guitar, or he's just a pentatonic wanker, or it's blues lame? Get on stage, get in a room with Bonamassa, trade solos. He will eviscerate you. He turns people into punching bags. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So keep that in the back of your mind that if people are going to hate on something, they're going to hate on the best in the world. You know what I mean? Like the best guitar players, literally 1% of the 1%. And, career players. So I think it's an interesting topic. Now, here's one last thing I want to add to you. If people start hating on you, you're probably doing something right. If people reference you and they're using you as a benchmark and a watermark for their content, you're probably doing something right. Most people don't punch down. Think about the world we live in, whether it be sports. People hate on Caitlin Clark, right? Like she's incredible. People punch up, right? People have a tendency to want to punch upwards because that validates them if they can bring them down a notch. So think of it this way. I'm just looking through the comments. I see Jeremy or Scott or Joey or Greg or Dan, if you guys want to post a video and somebody says something negative, take a breath and go, he's probably a little insecure because I did something right. You know what I'm saying? I think this is something that I want to clarify. This isn't new. Getting trolled isn't new. It's happened forever. I don't care who you are. It's happened to me for forever. You know, there's always one or two that just wants to troll, which is fine, whatever. I guess I wanted to make this video to talk about how you handle it and the perspectives of it. And also, I wanted to make this video to talk about what it means to be part of our community. And our guitar community is interesting because unlike, you know, a lot of other communities, online communities, we can get really cannibalistic as far, instead of lifting each other up to make the value of the guitar community and music community go up, we get cannibalistic and want to tear people down. And you look at maybe the automotive industry, it's not nearly as cannibalistic. Now people bicker over, you know, Lamborghini versus Ferrari, Ford versus Chevy, like whatever. But in general, when you go to a car show, everyone's really fired up about seeing all the different cars. Nobody wants to go to a car show and it just be only 67 Mustangs. Like, I love 67 Mustangs, but I don't want a car show of just 67 Mustangs, right? I want to see all these different cars. I think our music community could take a little something from that. Watching video game streamers support each other is really interesting too. Like, I watch some of my favorite video game guys and they make content and they reference each other's content in a positive way. And they're like, oh, so-and-so said this about this. What do you guys think? I think it's interesting that we as a guitar community can cannibalize each other like we do. And it seems to devalue the overall brand of what we're doing. It's devaluing our what it means to play guitar, and if you want to be a career player, right? If that's something that's in your thoughts. So I actually want to be inquisitive right now and hit the chat and see what you guys think about my perspective here. Thanks all for hanging out again. You know, it's great to see you guys as always on a Tuesday. This is a highlight of my week. This has really become something I look forward to, and it's really fun. And, you know, I always look forward to getting off topic and getting into the chat to see what you guys' opinions are. So let's just dig in here. Yeah, we had some crazy technical issues. Okay. The Red Sir seems to go to your guitar for streaming. It's been hanging right there as like I walk into the studio. It hangs right there. So it's the one that's easy to get. I'll play the orange one next week. But I think it just looks killer. I think it just looks so freaking good. And the carbon fiber looks so good. I just think it's a great looking guitar. It just has such cool factor. I'm such a fan of Ferrari. And, you know, maybe someday I can get the car that match. I really, you know, that would be like a life goal, is to get a really hot, you know, Ferrari. That would be sick. It's something I'm trying to save up my dollar papers for. But yeah, I love this one. Yeah, key changes. Tone is all. Kevin says tone is always so good. My tone is very simple. I think that's another thing to take away from today. I'm using 2 pedals and an amp, and most of the time I'm using just 1 pedal. It's the gearbox and the delay and the Sir SL68. And that's it. Like, get a gearbox. If you like my tone, get a gearbox and run the mids on the lead channel kind of down. And that's kind of it, you know. Yeah, cheers to Russia. Man, you guys are in the chat. Giuseppe's in the house. That's awesome to have some global folks in here. I love the Woodshed compressor, but I'm having to play direct more. Which compressor in the FM3 would be closest to the Sir Woodshed? David Lindgren has a great question here about playing live and using the FM3 live. What I do, David, is I actually use the Sir Woodshed with my Fractal. Problem solved. Like, just put it on there with it. That way I have the compressor that I want, and it's just there. Area 859 got a black humbucker A-Wood Telly. Resonates and sounds amazing. Yeah, it's killer. Yeah. And Dan asked about this fretboard. This fretboard is indeed ebony. We just did it because it would look so good with the black hardware. That's why that choice was made. Sahara's in the house. Hey, Sahara, it's always great to see you, my friend. Jay Smory, shout out to all my Patreon members hanging out. Jay is one of them, and we have a fantastic community. If you're interested in all the things we do over there, like the live classes and the lessons and all the different tone packs and things we do, that's all at patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. And even if you aren't interested in the lesson side of it and you just like the live stream, feel free to throw a little cash money in that tip bucket, because that allows me to do all the crazy stuff that I do here, which is all this stuff. Keeps the lights on. Jay says, little turnaround on the lowest strings of that run is tricky to get clean. Yeah, it is. And truthfully, I don't remember the fingering I used in the studio when I did it, which is, let's see. The fingering, I know the front of the fingering is this. I think I did. But now, I could have easily done it down here. What? It's like that could have been done down here. I don't remember because I improvised the solos. But I know the front of it is like this. I think I did. Because it allows me to go and then pick the rest of them. That kind of thing, right? Dan Anthony says, every note is so clean. Mad respect to that. Thank you, man. I think there's an illusion of speed, right? The cleaner you are, it's almost like the cleaner you are, the faster it sounds like you're going. So the more time I spent on precision and trying to play clean, the more it sounds really fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, work on precision and you'll get faster as a byproduct. That's my opinion. Andy, I bought a gearbox. It's out for delivery right now. Richie, cheers. I hope you enjoy it. I only run the blue channel as a boost to the red channel. It's a clon, so you can use it to do clon things. But the red channel, the mids don't really work like mids, like a smiley face. It just grabs a certain frequency and pulls it down. So it's kind of like a harsh or not harsh type of thing. Wes says, greetings from Cape Town. Andy, you're the cause. I started practicing every day. I love to see it. A 64-year-old disciple, Morris Herring Wood. That's a huge compliment, my friend. I love Steve Morris and Jimmy Herring. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being a part of this community. Halo packed up, had to send it back. I hate to see that. The gearbox, what is this gearbox? It's a Wampler overdrive pedal. Yeah. Thanks for the answer. Which cabinet is this pedal connected? It's into a universal audio aux box. So I have all the amps back here. They could go through any cabinet, or if I want to go direct to you guys to OBS, I have the aux box in there. I want to come to Long Island. I want to do some shows up in the Northeast for sure. Let's see who else we got. Let's see what else we got going on in here in the chat. Album's chiming here. This is good. Album says, live is the proof of how good you are, unless you fake it. It can be for sure, right? And also live, you can't anchor someone's career to just one live performance, because people have hot nights. People have nights where it's not hot. Steve Lukather has an opinion that I like, and I forget which interview he mentioned it in, but it's almost like you've got the ceiling of your playing, which is like everything's on 1,000. You have the greatest gig of your life. And it's like you're having the worst gig of your life is down here. The reality is you live kind of in the middle most of the time. And he said that he just wants to make his middle higher. And if he can make his middle higher, then he knows that even his lowest is going to be, he can get through the gig, right? I really like that. You guys have to remember, like, not every Jeff Beck performance is the Ronnie Scott's level of performance, right? And it's the nature of how improvisational he was, how much risk he took. And I like that. I like to have some risk where you're trying some new things, or you're just going for it. That has to live and breathe. It can't be all, just regurgitated. I don't like that in a live performance. So when you have that, then some live performances are going to be better than others, right? It's just like some nights are hot, some aren't, right? It's just it. So it's always good to keep that in mind when somebody doesn't sound great and it's on camera. You just go, oh, well, he's just having a bad night. I'm going to look at these other couple of videos. Like I don't know. Like you look up anybody online, some, a favorite guitar player, Steve Vai or Satriani or Paul Gilbert or whoever. Like there's going to be performances where it's good, but then there's going to be performances where it's like, holy crap, this is like incredible, right? Okay, here we go. Jealous people are so great at exposing themselves. That's the truth, Rebecca, for sure. That's for sure the truth. Greg is bringing up a point. Criticizing and tearing down others is popular these days, to the point that folks are doing it to win politics, media showing, all this kind of stuff, films, etc. It's everywhere, right? I think tearing down others is also really an easy way to get engagement on your social media and your YouTube and your Twitter, Instagram stuff like that. That rage bait. You know what I'm saying? It's like rage baiting people into commenting and arguing in the comments, and that just drives, and you don't realize all you're doing is just making somebody some money because you're just engaging with it. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Bill Carson says, Eric Johnson is another non-ego human that I've known since 78, always been humble. Eric turned him on to Sean Lane. Bill, Eric is one of the most humble dudes on the planet, and I'm super excited to say that Daniel Kimbrough and I will be opening for Eric in October, and I can't wait. Eric is just, he's a friend, and he's been a hero of mine since I started my journey, and he's been that to so many people. Like, man, Eric is a lot of people's Jeff Beck, right? Like, Eric is a lot of people's Van Halen. You know what I mean? Like, this is Eric Johnson. That's round table of the elite. Like, not good, but man, fantastic. Eric is just a legend. So I'm so excited to get to open for him in October. It's going to be great. Okay, here we go. Shredding Finn says, show me how you play it better is a great answer. Yeah, it is, but it's, he's referring to the troll thing, right? Show me how you play it better. That is, I always, before I even comment, I have to go see if they can play or not. And I've yet to have someone troll me that was a good guitar player. All the people that troll me, they're not good guitar players. And I'm not saying there aren't good guitar players, but it's ironic that all the good guitar players that I know, they don't really troll anybody. Like, I never catch Rick Graham trolling anybody. I don't ever catch, Seth Rosenblum trolling anybody. I don't ever catch Tom Quayle trolling anybody. They're too busy being good at guitar. You know what I mean? They got their hands full trying to be good at guitar, right? And we've all got something different to say with the instrument too, right? Like, Seth's message and his music is super different from Brent Mason's, but I think they're both really good. I think Seth on traditional blues as a player is just fantastic. He's got great touch. He's got great tone, and it's super different than, say, John Cordy or Sean Tubbs, if they were kind of like guys that I see who make a lot of videos. Like, Sean Tubbs is super different than Seth, super different player. But I love both. Like, Sean is one of my favorite players literally in the game. Like, Sean is like the Mike Landau evolved kind of player. It's like, if there was such a thing. And Landau's another one. It's just the world is filled with great guitar players. There's great guitar players everywhere. Here we go. A couple more. Man, Johnny Lane, thank you, man. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate the Patreon as well. I hope you have a good time over there. There's like 600 or 700 posts, just all kinds of good stuff in there. Various lessons and tone packs and Axe-Fx patches and live content. Man, yeah, I'm editing now some footage from Saturday's Skankbanger show. That's going to be a Patreon exclusive, so you guys can check out what we had going on. We did a nice big Ozzy Osbourne tribute Saturday night with the Skankbanger thing. So Calpum says, how do you record your solos? One take in parts? Are they all improvised? Is it a mixture of everything? Yeah, Calpum, it is kind of a mixture of everything. I improvise. I'll take maybe 5 swings, just blind improvisation. And if I played something that caught my ear, maybe I'll go back and like mine it and develop it into some idea. And sometimes solos just end up being improvised. Like all the crazy tapping in Free Range Chicken was just kind of me just going bananas on the demo as a joke. And it ended up being, Ben was like, no, that's staying. I was like, okay, cool. So like, sometimes it's just a placeholder that develops into something. But yeah, it's definitely, I start at the core as an improviser, because really composition, guys, when you're writing something, you're improvising it. You're just taking longer to do it. And when you're improvising, you're writing something, you're just doing it in a short amount of time. It's kind of the same thing, right? Yeah, J Campos says, the way I see the mids in the gearbox is this. The vintage smooth sounds are on the left. The modern sounds to the right. That's how I see it too. Yeah, that's how I see it too. Ton Guitarra says, Andy, do you stretch your hands and fingers before playing? I should. I haven't been, but I need to start doing that. I need to start doing some stretches and just getting my hands taken care of a little bit more. I need to do a better job of that. Preventative type of things, Okay, a couple more. Lucas is here. Lucas Perez, how you doing, man? Hope you're well, my friend. Good to see you in here hanging out with us. Andy, when is the Andy Wood, Pete Thorne, Ian Thornley, Sean Tubbs' special guest tour coming? It would be an amazing guitar night. That's from my man Roscoe P. Coltrane. Brother, I would love to put that tour together. Who all you got? You got me, Pete, Ian, and Sean. That would be a sick tour. All I can do is say, Ian, Sean, if you see this, let's do a tour. And it just be that simple. Let's just go play live. I'm just looking for any comments on topic of what we're talking about. Okay, so Anthony Wall's got a question about Rooster, my version of Rooster. And he says, could a bottom-of-the-line Strat sound anywhere near how you did the Rooster song? Absolutely. The key to me to getting that Rooster sound is like, just get a good neck pickup tone and get overdrive only to where it's pushing the note. Let me give you an example. I start with some compression. So here's the tone with nothing on it. It kind of goes away pretty quick. Some compression alleviates that. See how it stays and hangs around? Right? Kind of nice. Now, from there, I'll use a Wampler Bell or a Keeley Blues Driver or an 18 Mod or something that does some push. I typically don't lean into tube screamers. It's just a me thing. I like a more, a tube screamer almost has a little bit of the clean signal with the dirt. That's not for me. It's not bad. But it's just not what I go for. This Wampler Bell's got a little bit of drive on it, and you can kind of hear what we got now. It's kind of nice. where I can hit all the strings on the guitar and have a full range of chord and hear every single note in the chord. But there's still enough hair on it. Now let me turn off the compressor, because the compressor is a bit of the secret sauce. This is without it. I'm gonna turn it on. Now this is the kind of tone I was using on Storms and Sparrows. That's how I played it. That's a neat lick that's in there. I kind of mutated each time, but sorry. That's what it is. You kind of get this that's nice, isn't it? It's a neat way to play. You get a 13, 11, or sorry, no, 5. Major 7. It's like a major 7 voicing, right? Major 7 at 11. Get that sound, but yeah, that kind of combination really gets you into the range of Rooster. And then when I fire up the, sometimes I might use a little bit of EQ to boost like a 3.2 and dip a little bit of like 1.8. It sounds nice. Yeah. There's that same chord. Now I won't use the EQ if I go to the lead channel. That's that lick that I like that Matteo Manguso plays a lot. So that's kind of, kind of like how I like to operate that. Thank you, Lyndon, so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the monetary support there. That will go to all the various costs that we have, internet costs, lighting bills, things of this nature, things we need to keep it going. Sahar has got an interesting question here, which he says, before using the Wampler, what kind of overdrive did you typically use? I had all kinds of things, ranging from the Sheba, the classic full tone OCD. I had one of those. But in general, before I kind of got into the pedal thing, it was like studying Andy Timmons and Eric Johnson. They're like pedal guys. They use pedals to get their lead tone to like boost an amp. And before that, I had always been just a amp overdrive only. I used that old Diesel Herbert and that Rose Colossus all the time, and I just used whatever gain that they had, and it was plenty. Like, it was a lot. That Diesel's got a lot of gain. Anthony Wallace saying, is the Wampler a distortion or an overdrive? I don't know. I don't know I don't know the difference really in what that means from an engineering standpoint. Who cares? It makes overdrive. I use like distortion and overdrive. Like at some point they're the same thing. So much overdrive and it's distortion. So little distortion and it's overdrive. It's like, it's just the gearbox to me. Visacha Trucci says the two most non-sexy pedals I can't live without is a Woodshed comp and a Rev tilt boost. Yeah, I mean there's really nothing like flashy about those pedals. They don't generate this huge amount of gain or do a delay like the Halo, but man, they're so essential into like tone shaping. They just make whatever you've got, they just make it more better. Like more better bestest. You know what I mean? Like they kind of do that thing. Here we go. Love the full tone OCD. A bit bummed the company went under. Yeah, it's the nature. True World's got another one saying the Angry Charlie. Yeah, I really like the Angry Charlie a lot, and I like the Andy Timmons version of it. That's the or whatever they call that. Yeah, it's totally that thing. All right, guys, everyone go practice. This is the game. Cody's saying on your faster runs, you try and keep your fingers out of it, mostly alternate pick. I mean, that's just an opinion of tone, however I want the tone to sound. For more in-depth stuff on that, that's on the Patreon stuff. We really get in the weeds of facility over there. So if you're into like taking your playing farther into that detailed area, that's definitely a Patreon community type of thing. But it's really about the tone. Like, do you want the tone of or do you want like a smoother tone? Like, let me give you an example before we bail out. Do I want... That's kind of a smoother sound. If I want a harsher... The alternate pick sounds really lethal. But I mean, it could sound nice if it wasn't like super lethal like that too. That'd be like a smoother way to do it. Maybe get a wider intervallic approach that way too. Yeah. It's really just just in what you're trying to, get out of it. Do you want the or you want the smoother sound or something more slippery and bubbly? It's all interesting tonal choices. Not really doing something as in this is the only way that I could do it. More be like, how many ways can I do this to get however many different sounds out of it? That's something that stays kind of more at the forefront of my practice time. That said, everyone have a great week. Seriously, go have a great week. Lift each other up. Take a little bit of time to, if you see something that you like online, if you see a player playing something awesome, don't just hit the heart and keep scrolling. If you see a player play something this week, my challenge to you is to write a nice comment. Okay? That's not all bubblegums and hearts and butterflies. If you see a player struggle with something, add constructive advice. By that, it could be as simple as like, hey man, have you tried playing that on the bridge pickup? Or have you tried playing that on the neck pickup? Hey man, I see you're having a hard time with this transition. Try moving your first finger here. Just something that engages, that can help someone be a better player, right? That's the thing. You don't have to tear down someone else's building to make your building taller. That's the idea for today. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. As always, you can hit up andywoodmusic.com for tour dates where I'm going to be playing. We've got San Antonio coming up with Gary LaVox. I've got a great one with Skankbanger on August 16th at the Shed Harley Davidson. That's the largest Harley Davidson dealership in America. And it's really close to the Dragon, the Tail of the Dragon. If you guys know that road, it's 318 curves in 11 miles. And that Harley Davidson dealership is a giant venue. Giant. I mean, huge national touring acts play there. And I'm excited to do the 80s tribute thing there on August 16th. All of those tour dates where you can see me play are on andywoodmusic.com. Reminder, tickets go on sale Friday for you Knoxville folks for the Bijou Theater. I'm headlining. I can't wait to do that. And I'm going to have a great band with Travis Toy and Eli Bishop and Ben and Andy and the squad. It's going to be really, really great. Now, Patreon for support. Have I hit everything? Have I done my due diligence? Woodshed's coming up. If you want to go to Woodshed, we have a few slots left. AW200 is the code for Woodshed. And outside of that, I think that'll do it. Go practice, be blessed, and we'll see you guys next week.